Hey guys, what's up? Carter here. Hey, do you smell that? Oh, that stinks. What is that? Oh, that's the dead freaking horse that I've been kicking, beating, whatever. Yeah, this is another video about the Strider price point, right? Because, well, and the reason two reasons I'm making this video. First reason is, it's still a topic that comes up. A lot of people still ask me that question when I feature Striders. They say, well, how is it worth the money? Do you think it's worth the money? Why is it worth the money? So on and so forth. And that's the first reason. Second reason is, my opinions change. My opinions grow. I would like to think that I mature in my opinions, at least to some extent. It doesn't stay static. The video I did 6 months ago was my opinion 6 months ago. Things change. I get clarity. And I've had people accuse me of being a fanboy when it comes to Striders and Emersons. And, all I have to say to that is, hell yeah. Yeah, aren't we all kind of fanboys? I mean, isn't that what this is? Like, I've got an effing YouTube channel about knives. Pretty much 95% of my 590 videos or whatever are about knives. So yeah, I'm a fanboy. I mean, if this channel was about Star Wars, and you said you're just a Star Wars fanboy, yes I am. And I am a Strider and Emerson fanboy. But anyway, so, first topic, are they worth the money? If you're asking that question, the answer is probably no, first off, because you're coming at it from a, kind of a, for the materials that I get, for the design or whatever, the construction, is it actually worth the money? Could I get something else of, that's a better value, a better money value? And yeah, you can. There's a lot of better valued knife options out there where you can get something pretty similar, especially, with companies like ZT. And one thing you got to keep in mind too is the price point that companies like Strider put themselves at was done before things like ZT really came out. So I am kind of curious what that will do for the long-term range, because, for some of you that are new into the knife world, you may not realize this, but it wasn't that long ago that you didn't see things like ZT knives in the production knife world. I mean, knives have gone leaps and bounds. The custom world is trickling into the production world. We've got Spyderco making titanium frame locks and things like that. I mean, they did have the Leaf Storm that's been around for a while, but it wasn't that huge. A lot of because I remember every time, I'm getting way off topic here, guys, but every time I show my Spyderco Phoenix, it's a pretty cool piece. Not a ton of people know about it, and it's pretty kind of interesting looking compared to most Spydercos. But one of the reasons it didn't last very long is because of the price point was really high. But if you actually look at that price point compared to the stuff coming out now, it's nothing. Like $200 plus dollars. When that knife came out, that was insane. Now, yeah, there's a number of knives at that price point. Both with ZT, Spyderco, the Brad Southard flippers coming out. It's like $260, something like that. And that's retail price. On the secondary market, you'll see people fork out more than that. So it's really gone up leaps and bounds. There was a time where if you wanted something like this, a titanium frame lock, you couldn't get it from Kershaw, aka ZT. You couldn't get it from Spyderco and things like that. Companies like Strider, which has been around since the 90s, was the only production company other than CRK really doing things like this. So yeah, it is kind of interesting to see how or if anything changes now that some of these larger companies are moving into arenas that they hadn't really been in, or maybe they'd only dipped their toe into it and it didn't really work out. But so these ZT knives, these Hinder knives and stuff, they are obviously super popular. I don't think they would have been 5 years ago. In fact, I'm pretty confident that if the 0550 or 60 came out 5-6 years ago, it wouldn't have done well. People would have been like, what? I'm not paying that much money for a knife. That's insane. But now, it's been sold out. Anyways, so what was my point? My point is kind of that, you know, oh yeah, a lot of people when they're saying it's not worth the money, they're comparing knives that are fairly recent on the market and weren't available too long ago. So I guess my point with that is, I don't know what my point is. I mean, I guess just keep in mind that the price point these were set at was kind of, the game has changed, is what I'm saying. The game has changed. So you may look at it dumbfounded, like how can they charge that much when you can get a ZT for that much money? You got to remember, they set their kind of price point before those knives were available. So anyways, moving on. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it purely as a, is there another option that'll get me these materials, this build quality for less money? Yeah, there is. They've positioned themselves in a certain price point for a reason. And that is because they want their market to be kind of a certain stature and a certain age. You know, those are the people they want buying their knives. And so they set the price point kind of to match that. And it creates kind of a forced exclusivity. You know what I mean? I mean, you're never going to see Strider knives at Bass Pro Shops. I mean, aside from maybe the Buck collaboration they did a while ago. You know, it's kind of an exclusive sort of club type thing. And for that reason, you get a lot of people that kind of, you know, Strider lovers and Emerson lovers, they kind of build a little bit of a community and a camaraderie and a brothership because they're all, for the most part, in similar paths in life at that time. You know, they're kind of established, they got careers, maybe families, most of them have families. They're kind of older, and of course this isn't everybody. I'm just saying, you know, the kind of overall demographic that it's leading into is kind of that arena, you know, and so they're able to kind of go beyond just the knife and kind of connect together and things like that, which is, you know, what the USN is all about, really. So anyways, my point is that, yeah, no, it's not all just tangible, like right here is this thing with, you know, this thick of titanium and G10. I mean, is it worth that much money? You know, there's other things in play. There is a very legitimate reason for the cost, and that's the warranty. And I hate to say warranty because it's not a warranty. It's a lifetime, it's a free lifetime service plan. You know, a warranty generally, especially a limited warranty, generally just protects against manufacturer defects. You know, something breaks on it, something's not right with it. And as time goes by, your ability to get covered starts to diminish. You know, you buy a Spyderco and something breaks on it after 5 years. I'm not saying they won't take care of you, but it's less likely to happen than if the thing was broken out of the box or broke after a week. You know, they're going to say, well, you know, it is a knife, you've been using it, things break, buy another one. And especially if you say, yeah, I was using my knife to pry a piece off of an old engine I have in my backyard. I couldn't get it free, so I was kind of sticking it in there and trying to pry it free, and I broke the blade in half. They'd say, yeah, no, you broke the blade doing something you weren't supposed to do. Buy another knife, you know, sorry, whatever. Strider, no questions asked. You break that blade, send it in with a $15 return shipping check. By the way, UPS, don't send USPS. Write SKI instead of Strider Knives. Just throwing that in there. And then they'll put a new blade on for you in, you know, a week or two, you know, maybe 3, depending on what's going on, what they're working on and stuff. You've got a fully functional knife. So essentially, if you buy a Strider knife, you're buying the only knife you'll ever need, unless you lose it. And even then, if you're in good graces with certain people, even then, they may help you out. You know, I'm not guaranteeing that, you know, if you lose your knife, they'll help you. I'm just saying, you know, I've seen them go way above and beyond just the standard stuff for certain individuals. But, yeah, so, I mean, it's more than just a warranty. It's not just, you know, if we do something wrong and it breaks. I mean, it's like, you buy this knife, and you're going to have a functional knife for the rest of your life. And how much is that worth to you? I mean, you know, let's say, you know, how much is that worth to you? I mean, when you really start thinking about how much service plans cost and things, and, you know, that's figured into the price, you're good to go. So that's definitely something to consider. I mean, if you are a hard use knife guy and you're just looking for a badass hard use knife, and you look at a Strider and you say, oh, I would never spend that much money on a freaking knife. I mean, if you're really just looking for a knife that'll last your lifetime, I think that's more than worth it, because that one purchase will cover you for the rest of your life, or at least until, as long as Strider Knives is a company, which I'm sure won't be going away anytime soon. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. It is more than just a warranty. It is a service plan. Another thing I wanted to address is Strider knives being a-holes. Yeah, that's, you know, it's a perception that's kind of out there. You know, I hear a number of people talk about it, complain about it, things like that. I've never experienced it personally. I've only dealt with customer service once, and it was with a very, very expensive custom, and Mick took excellent care of me. I mean, I was amazed, blown away with what he did for me. But yeah, no, I have heard stories about, you know, them being rude and things like that. All I can really say to that is take a look at my asshole knife makers video. You know, I mean, there's no way to justify that, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it is what it is, you know, and they're the type of company where they will make right, but, you know, they're not going to kiss any asses. You know, if you call them up with a problem, they're not going to beat around the bush and say, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. No, they're going to say, if you have a problem, send it in. If not, catch you later. You know, I mean, they're not going to dick around with you, sending emails back and forth and asking questions and doing this and doing that. You know, they're just not. They're going to, if it's broken, send it in. If it's not, wait till it is. You know, and that's all there is to it. And that's just kind of how they are. They're just a no nonsense, no BS, no butt kissing, blowing smoke up your ass company. They all work very hard, and yeah, so that's, you know, that's really all I can say about that. I mean, of course, that's, I mean, if somebody's rude to you, there's no real way to excuse that, but, you know, it's, I don't know. It is what it is. But I've seen far more amazing customer service stories from Strider knives than I've seen negative ones, and truly negative ones. I think we've kind of been conditioned, and I've mentioned this in my asshole knife makers video. I think we've kind of been conditioned to get our butts kissed from companies, you know, because that's just what we're used to. They're trying to sell a product, they want us to be happy, and they'll do anything they can to make it that way. But you kind of get into some of these smaller companies, you know, and some of these companies just ran by some really tough dudes, and, you know, the rules kind of change. Not necessarily the rules, but things that happen are a little bit different than that. You know, it's not, if you call Strider Knives or send them an email, it's not like sending an email to McDonald's Corp where they send out a pre-typed apology letter with some coupons. You know, it's, you're not going to get that. You know, you're going to talk to a real person who's probably been working his ass off all day, took a minute to answer some emails or pick up the phone, and he's just going to tell you what's what. You know, he's going to say, okay, have a problem, send it in. If not, why are you wasting my time? Which is, you know, could be perceived as rude, but that's just how they roll down there. So I don't know. I don't know if that, I guess I'm just, if anyone was curious about that, you know, maybe they'd heard some things about Strider being mean or not helpful with problems or something like that. I figured I would just kind of throw my opinions and my thoughts out there and my dealings and things like that. And as always, videos like this especially, these are just ad-lib videos. I start with an idea. I wanted to talk about kind of how my thoughts had changed on are Striders worth the money. And there's nothing I can say that'll make somebody who's skeptical about buying one all of a sudden pick one up. I mean, either you dig them and you want one and the price point is a secondary factor, or it's not. You know, I mean, there's nothing magical that's going to pop out at you the second you hold it. Well, maybe if you pick one up, you'll fall in love with it, but you know what I mean. And I also wanted to talk about the whole warranty thing, and, you know, how it's not really a warranty, it's more than that. So if there's anything in this video that's confusing, or I always like to make analogies and they don't always work out, you know, just chalk it up to the fact that I'm not reading a teleprompter here. I'm just kind of going off the cuff. I don't have anyone, you know, like my other video when I talked about making YouTube videos, I don't have anybody saying, what are you talking about, dude? That doesn't make any sense. Or, you know, I'm just allowed to free flow my mind. So here it is. All right, guys, I'll quit talking now. Video went way too long. It was supposed to be like a 3-minute video. All right, guys, take it easy.